Hey, hey, it's your boy, Wandering Swordsman What Ifs, and this is part 6 of What If Deku had a quirk called Enhancement. Also, I'm not putting a lot of dialogue into it, like, uh, other people dialogue, because I'm kind of, like, exiting that out, if that was any concern, or, yeah, and just you, oh, actually, you know what, I'll explain that when I start saying story. So, we left off after the UA entrance exam. No, not. I said UA entrance exam. Yeah. We left off after the USJ sport. No, UA sports festival was over, and it ended off with Deku at first place, Bakugo second, and oh my throat, and Todoroki at third. Um, and just now, just telling you guys, I missed a part, but actually I'm re-putting it. It's the part where they make their special moves, and Deku's special move was supposed to be kick style, shoot style, which was using his feet. But I'm actually going to give Deku a other special move, which was shown in the sports festival against Todoroki. I think, yeah, it was shown against Todoroki, and I'll explain why it was shown. So Deku, they head off as like, before you guys go to your work studies, because they were supposed to do work studies. I also, if that was before, I'm rewriting it to go now. So I'm kind of changing up the story a little. I'm trying to change up the events times a little. So they head to a training area, the USJ training area, and everyone's working on the special moves. And All Might's there and is looking at Deku and is like, actually, actually, you know what? It would be better if I do this later. Yeah, this will be better if I do it later. This will, ooh, bro, this is gonna be lit. So okay. So we're gonna go straight into work studies, and I'm not gonna do the night eye works. Actually, you know what? I'm doing the night. Okay, yeah, I'm doing the night eye work study, because he needs that when they're talking about works. Okay, yeah. So, Deku, as the showing of being the first place winner for the UA sports festival, a lot of people were looking to enroll him, even Endeavor himself. But this was more of a kind of to like revenge on Deku, but like Deku knew this because he's smart, and Deku's like, okay. And he talks to Araka, and he wants to get to know people better because he knows that he's been shutting himself off from everyone, and he introduces himself to everyone. He's like, he's changed his personality, and Denki's pretty chill with it. And Baku's like, you've never done this ever, nerd. What's up with you today? Like, nothing. I just feel like I'm throwing myself out of this world. And I'm like, okay. And Deku starts talking to Menma. No, I said Menma! Dude, bro, I'm so sorry, guys. I am really confused. So he's talking to, Denki, talking to, like, Momo, talking to a huge friends, like almost everyone from the class. Everyone's introducing themselves or quirks, and they're getting to know each other better. And they before the works, the the not the work studies, the thing where they recruit yourself for to work or train under a person. I think it's called work studies. I'm just gonna call it work studies. So they get to know each other, and Deku, like he was number one in everything. Not only physical stuff, but also school, because, you know, times 7 gives you times 7 intelligence. And just sideline, times 7 intelligence for Deku is like having 1/4 of President Nezu's intelligence. So, I mean, that's a lot, because if I'm correct, President Nezu is the most smartest person in the world. Well, he's not a person, he's more of a thing, which is kind of strange. But I mean, that's really off the point. So, Deku, he gets to meet everybody, and everyone starts to like Deku more because he used to think Deku was a loner and he hated them. Some of them hated him, but then they eventually liked him. And he already met Todoroki, so everyone starts to like Deku and build a kind of good relationship with Deku. So after this, then Deku sees the list of people he can recruit for. But then he flashbacks to, he sees a specific name, and he's really interested, and he's like, I remember this name from somewhere. And he goes over, he flashbacks to a time where All Might was telling Deku that he needed to feel his quirk all around his body. And he's like, all around my body. And Deku starts to feel it out, but then he remembers, this is what my teacher, blank, 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 taught me. And he remembers blank, blank, blank. He's like, oh, Torino! And I'm just going to call him Torino because I like that name better. I like the way they said it better. So, oh no, or Gran Torino. Actually, yeah, I'm just going to say Gran Torino. So, he's like, Gran Torino. He's like, and then he sees the name, he's like, if I'm ever going to succeed or do anything with All For One, then I'll have to go to Gran Torino. So, he heads off, and he picks off Gran Torino. And here, we go to like, let's say 3 days later, and it was a weekend, and the Monday was off because they had to get their stuff to stay with in Gran Torino. And I'm going to give Deku like a higher time because I want Deku to learn something more than using blank, which you'll get in a second. So Deku heads off straight, and he right now is on the way to Gran Torino, and he's spending a week over there. So Deku is kind of excited because he's gonna finally learn something, and he's gonna get something to advance his power in All For One, One For All. And he arrives at this dirty building. He's like, okay, and he opens the door and sees the doors almost falling off. He's like, are you serious? My teacher's teacher worked here? And he looks around and he hears think fast from the side of him. And Deku, like he can see things faster, he sees Gran Torino with a kick. Hits him with another kick straight to the gut, and Gran Torino's like, ugh. Oh, you're strong, kid. See if you can keep up to this. He's like, wait. It's like, what, kid? Didn't you come here to work for me? He's like, yeah, but like, can I put on my suit first? He's like, go ahead, kid. It's not like this is gonna help you. Gran Torino's a little more cocky. He's like, damn it, this old man. What does he want? Why is he even fighting me? Deku's thinking of millions of possibilities why he's fighting him in the moment, but not even one of them comes to his mind that would make sense. So Deku's like, well, I got my suit on. And before Deku could even react, before he thought that Deku could react, a kick came straight to the face of Deku. And Deku dodges, grabs his foot, and blasts him into the ground. Thinking that he fell to the ground, the dust showed that Gran Torino was already out of there. And then he noticed that Gran Torino was jumping between wall to wall, and going increasing speeds. And Deku's like, let me try to match this. And he goes, and he's like, time to try it. So he puts up all force into his legs. He's like, what is his name? I forgot the name. I'm just gonna call it bungee jump. And even he hears bungee jump, and Gran Torino's like, what? This kid's using his ultimate move already? And Gran Torino is jumping across the walls, but he can't see Deku anymore. He's like, where's he? And Gran Torino's unable to notice, but Deku's right behind Gran Torino, moving at such fast speeds that to him, he can't see anything. And he's doing exactly the same thing as Gran Torino. But Gran Torino's noticing that there's small craters in the walls, growing increasingly in size. It's like, I'm not doing these. And his eyes can't track the blur. He's like, damn it, that kid's fast. And when Gran Torino's about to jump out of the way, trying not to get hit by Deku's infinite barrage of jumps, he notices that Deku anticipated this, and a kick was coming straight to Gran Torino's face. But he uses Jet to get out of there as fast as he could. But noticing that Jet is not going to get him anywhere if he's not able to use it fast enough, he's like, Gran Torino didn't show this, but I'm making it a little different. He's like, Ultra Boost, and this boosts Gran Torino's speed by a lot. Like, it makes his speed times 2, and he's able to get out of that. It's like, okay, time out, kid. You're powerful. But I'm noticing that this isn't all for one for all. It's like, so you knew I had all for one. It's like, of course. I could see that you have the same expression that he used to have, being so clueless about his powers. Like, okay. And remember, Deku can only use enhancement in 2 limbs, but he could use it in 2 limbs, but all the other effects happen as normal. So he can only use the speed in 2 limbs, but no, the strength in 2 limbs, but speed and everything else works perfectly. Just that the most important, which is the strength, if you don't have strength, well, never mind. That's actually not the most important. So, Deku gets told by Gran Torino that he sees that he's only using it in his legs and only using kick style. But why isn't he using it with his fist? So he shows Gran Torino one of his kicks and blasts away the whole entire left side of the apartment. And he's like, what did you do? It's like, sorry. And speeds and rebuilds it. Actually, no. He doesn't blast all of it away. He kicks random air and makes the air pressure makes a whole entire crater, a big size crater at the end of the wall. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, sorry, didn't mean to. And he's like, yeah, you better have not. He's like, but that's impressive. And then Deku shows him one of his punches and sees that not even the same air pressure came out. And he's like, so you can only use it in 2 limbs then? It's like, yes. It's like, but speed works perfectly. He's like, yeah. So he's kind of concerned. He's like, have you ever tried to put it all around your body? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, circulate your power all throughout your body. He's like, what do you mean by that? He's like, well, think about it like this. And he gives to explain that he wants him to divide everything in half and put it into 4. And put it all around his body. Kind of like a bloodstream. If you only bring blood to your hands, then all is going to be concentrated there. But try to cut out some of that blood coming from your hands and bring it to your legs, or from legs to hands. And he's like, interesting. And Deku is like, well, here we go. And he tries it out. But as soon as he does, he receives a giant cramp in his left lung. He's like, and he starts breathing heavily. He's like, damn it. Looks like you're not ready for it. Looks like you need to train a little more. He's like, train more? He's like, yes. And the first day goes with Deku training his physical strength. And he has times 8 activated this time. And he's like, And Deku decides to use times 1 and kicks. And sees that before he even started any training, and when he was a child, his times 1 was weaker. And he sees that training his physical strength not only increases it, but it's faster increasing it without your quirk. He's like, why should this be the case? But Deku decides to keep this off goal and keeps on his quirk and continues training. Now, Deku, the next day, Gran Torino tells Deku to try to jump the wall, but without his quirk. To try to do the exact same thing Gran Torino was doing, and jump side to side until he's all the way up in the building. And he's like, okay. And Deku makes it halfway up there, but's not able to do it. And he sees that his legs is the base of everything. So he has to train that more than he has to train anything else. So Deku goes right off. And Gran Torino is seeing how much of determination Deku has. Because All Might had this exact same determination, just that he was more dense than anyone else he's trained before. And Deku thinks back to the day when something happened, and thinking back to it now makes him think very idiotically and why he did not use his quirk for most of his life. So now we're gonna talk about the trauma that Deku has faced. So yeah, and this is like a little side story, like a flashback that Deku has. It's gonna last like around 2 minutes maybe. So we go back to Deku in his childhood. He is right now at the last day of school. No, yeah, last day of elementary school. And Deku hits home and he's mad. He beat Kachan, but he didn't feel accomplished. And remember, Deku trained, so he kept his ×2 on. And that means his rage was multiplied as ×2. And Deku got so mad. And he's like, "Hey mom." He's like, "Yeah." Like, and they started talking about how school went and everything, and then Deku, no, his mom told Deku that if he could come downstairs for a second. And there stands his dad. Yeah, Hiyashi. No, I don't remember his name, but I know it starts with an H. And he's like, he looks at his dad with wide eyes, but with a angered grin on his face. He's like, noticing that the pictures on the walls of him and his dad standing together. He's like, "Where have you been all this time?" And Deku starts to cry and is like, "Sorry, I don't want to hear it." And Hiyashi's like, "Don't you dare talk to me. I'm still your... No, don't you dare talk to me like that. I'm still your dad." And he's like, "You dare call yourself my dad?" And let's do a little backstory. So, Hisashi, yeah, that's his name, I think, left Izuku and Izuku's mom at a very young age, and Deku was very traumatized by it. He was not traumatized, but he was very hurt or sad about this. And Deku resented his dad ever since then, and he left to be with a other woman. And he eventually, that girl was a gold digger, and he eventually lost everything due to him getting married and her stealing everything from him. And that day he came back from that. And Deku implied with the rage that came out of nowhere after beating Kachan, and the rage of seeing that his dad dare come back after doing that to them. And Deku starts to get angry. And remember, he has ×2. That means his rage is implied more. And Deku is so mad that he dares to try to go attack his dad. And he goes straight in for a right hook. And his mom gets in the way, trying to protect Hisashi. And he hits his mom. His mom was knocked out and sent to the hospital because she had a concussion. She was punched by a 2 times powered Deku. Hisashi's like, "What do you do?" It's like, I didn't mean to. He's like, "What do you mean you didn't mean to? Look what you did to her." And Deku ran, and Deku's like, he went to the forest and started training, trying to get all his anger and sadness out. And Deku at this age had a phone, but not for the reasons you think he might. He had the phones because he had such a powerful quirk. In those times, Deku would get messed with, and his mom would need to pick him up sometimes when he got in fights, because he was kind of more like Bakugo. So Deku used to always get in fights, like I said, and around like 2 or 5 hours, 5 hours later, it's already daytime, and Deku's sleeping in a tree. and his mom is calling, and he checks his phone and he sees that there's been 536 missing calls. He's like, Mom. He's like, she's made, and he checks when Mom started calling. She started calling as soon as she woke up, which was like at he knocked his mom out. He knocked his mom out at 11:52, and she's been calling since 12:02. He's like, damn, Mom. It's 2. It's in the morning because Deku stayed up until like 5 training, and this was just a way to distract himself. And since then, Deku didn't ever want to use his quirk again, or never wanted to show himself in front of his mom. And when he finally gained the courage to go to the hospital, his mom was there, all bandaged up. He's like, Deku! It's like, and she's like, where have you been? He's like, don't talk to me. It's like, come on. You can't still be mad at me, saying Hisashi. It's like, okay. And, well, yeah, Hisashi's still in Deku's life. Just that, because Deku's a big boy, his mom and dad decided that they were going to leave Deku for a little bit. And listen. Inko is the best mom Deku could have ever asked for. But remember, after having the depression of losing Hisashi, she gained some weight, and they left on a 1-year vacation, and just to try to spend time with each other and get to know each other again. And yeah, so I mean that's it. And now we move on to where Deku's back, and he's basically cleaning up Gran Torino's place, and Gran Torino's like, hey, stop daydreaming, come over here. It's like, okay. It's like, now he says, try again. He's like, try again doing what? He's like, try to regulate your power. And this time, think about it. Imagine yourself regulating the power. And Deku's starting to imagine himself regulating the power around his whole entire body. And before he just tried, but he didn't. The power of the imagination is powerful. And finally, sparks of green lightning started showing up around Deku's body. It's like, and Deku's like, what should I call this? And he's like, I will call, and Gran Torino says, let's call this form 1% of all for one. He's like, 1%? He's like, yeah. And he says, this isn't the most powerful form of all for one. One for all. But you can still use it. And he's like, okay. And now he tries to train around with it, and because he finally unlocked the way it works, the 2 quirks times 2 and one for all fused. And they fused and became a singular quirk. And basically, the new foundations of this quirk is 1. Is everything he used to have, just that now the times power not only times his physical power, but whenever he uses it, for example, whenever he's using one for all, he could be using 1%, but if he goes times 7, he goes times 7 percent of one for all, and so it basically multiplies not only his strength but also the strength of one for all. So I mean, yeah, and this happened on day 2, and that means he still had 5 more days, and those 5 more days he spent training, and basically Deku was able to get times 5 before you know what, and the last day arrives, and Deku is on the bullet train, making his way to UA, and showing the results that he got from his training, because I'm gonna make it kind of like that. And he's like, he remembers that before he left, Ida has this grim face, and him thinking about what happened, and then he remembers that Ida, he remembers the news, and he sees that there was a hero who was hurt by a hero killer called Stain, and he tries to remember the name until he remembers the name, and he had the last name of Ida, and he's like, wait, could he be? And he's like, but before he's able to finish the thought, the bullet train gets busted, like wrecked, and he was like, everyone's screaming, and Deku's like, and Gran Torino and Deku were like, what? It's like, look, heroes, and he's like, do something about this. And it gets wrecked because a hero comes in, gets wrecked, put inside of it. And he's like, huh? And he looks over to the hero, he's like, are you okay? And the Nomu comes in, looking at the hero. And then Gran Torino, first thing he does, activates his quirk and kicks the Nomu straight in the face. A diving down. And Gran Torino saying, stay here. And he's like, I have to go find someone. He's like, yeah, okay then. Call me when you're done. He's like, but be careful. He's like, okay. And they head off. And Deku is blasting around the city, looking around. And he jumps over. He sees Ida about to get stabbed by the hero killer Stain. And he's like, Ida! And kicks the hero killer Stain with his left leg. And the whole entire fucking body of hero killer Stain gets bodied, thrown. And Ida's like, Deku? It's like, what are you doing here? This is my fight. It's like, shut up, that nigga. You better die. Are you good? Like, I can't move. I don't know why. And Deku's like, And Deku looks at the symptoms of Ida's like, this looks like you're paralyzed. But by what? It's like, and he starts giving him the information. He's like, maybe that's it. So he's like, but first I have to try this out. He's like, then he's like, you bastard. Who the hell do you think you are? I was about to get him. My prey. He's like, what do you mean my prey? And then sees the hero behind him. And he's like, oh. He's like, I can't let you kill heroes. He's like, what do you mean heroes? These fake heroes aren't heroes. They're just there for the fame and money. And even though Deku kind of agrees with his psychological thoughts, he still doesn't agree that killing them just because they're fake heroes is right. So Deku's like, yeah, kind of agree, but I still won't let you kill people. He's like, well then, square up. He doesn't say that. He says, well then, and then just blasts right up to Deku. He's like, he's fast. And yeah, he's fast. Too fast for Deku to even catch himself. It's like, looks like I have to amp my speed. It's like, but one drawback to his quirk fusing with One For All is the fact that Deku cannot use it without using One For All as well. Meaning that, oh wait, what did it mean? Oh my god, that left my mind. But that does not matter. I'll finally remember. So Deku starts using, oh actually, you know what? Deku can, he can control, One For All more than he usually does. He's able to control if he wants it together or if he wants it split. So he splits his enhancement quirk and uses it by itself. It's like, well then, times 7. It's like, times 7? He's like, okay then, bungee jump! And he starts using Gran Torino's tactic, and he's like, he's too fast for me to catch. Looks like I have to use this. Predicts where Deku's going and throws a kunai. Yep, a kunai. And, no, actually, you know what? A shuriken. And it slightly grazes Deku. Not spilling any blood, but Deku does spill blood on his skin. So it doesn't go on the kunai. He's like, he sees the blood, and he's like, and he goes over to the kunai and sees no blood. He's like, damn it. I wasn't able to cut deep enough. He's like, You're damn right. He's like, but I was able to catch me. Thanks Deku. And Deku's like, Deku is having a tough time because he can't get close enough. And, Deku gets cut, like, with his katana. He's like, I got you! And he slightly grazes, Deku's skin and gets some blood on the katana. He's like, licks the katana. He's like, well, now paralyzed. Deku's paralyzed for the short while. He's like, damn it, this can't be it. Deku's like, no! And then, we flash back to where Deku is on his phone. And he's like, the phone is behind him. He's like, and he sends a message. He's like, and then seconds after, a wall of ice comes straight at the hero killer. And, the hero killer's like, another brat. Damn it. It's like, so many interruptions in one day. I'll have to kill you all. Sorry guys for the pause. Someone unnecessary came inside my room and started making a bunch of noise. Okay, but that's besides the point. Let's get back into it. Now, Deku just says, Todoroki, don't let me take your blood. He's like, why? He's like, just don't. He's like, I have no time to explain. He's like, okay, Deku, calm down. And around 30 seconds after, Deku's able to move. He's like, huh? Looks over to Ida. Ida's still not able to move. And he's like, And goes over the millions of possibilities in his head. He's like, and he thinks up and connects the dots. He's like, don't let him take your skin. Looks like he's able to paralyze you if he is able to get in contact with your skin. He's like, with your blood. And he's like, okay. And now he's at 4 points. He's like, damn it, that idiot. And he's like, damn it, you stupid brats. And Deku is heading straight for the hero killer. And he's like, well, time to die. Well, not time to die. It's like, time to get caught. And Deku is like, ×8. Bungee jump! And he's like, bungee jump. But this time, the hero killer, Stain, is not able to catch up to the movements of Deku, not even for a second. That is like trying to see something impossible. And how do you say that's impossible? Yeah. So basically, now Deku is has finally knocked out the hero killer Stain. And they look around and see that the hero killer Stain was knocked out. And they saved the hero that was faithfully hit by hero killer Stain. Almost killed hero killer Stain until intercept. And then we move on to where Endeavor is wrecking up the no moves that are coming out of nowhere. And Deku I'm gonna kind of alter the timeline a little bit. And a few officers, no, actually no. And after killing the hero killer Stain and putting him in cuffs, ones that he won't be able to get out of anytime soon. Deku and Todoroki look up. Well, not look up. They look to the side and see that there is a Nomu looking straight at all of them. And they head to the other side where there is officers. And they give the officers hero killer Stain. And Aizawa meets up with the officers and takes the hero killer Stain. Just noticing that the Nomu is right there. And Deku goes right in for the knockout. And actually, in this one, Deku is able to knock the Nomu out. He's able to one-shot it. And he's like, that was more easier than the last one. It's like, hell yeah, it was. It's like, well then, let's do this, boys. He's like, head him off to the station. And then we move on to where Deku, Ida, and Todoroki are in the office, and they're explaining that it's illegal for people with quirks to use them outside of school premises. And They're like, I'm sorry, but then it comes in the officer saying, but we were using it for self-defense. It's like, even if that is the case, using it in any shape, way, or form is a fault of regulation, and that's final. And the kids are like, okay then. And they're like, well, that's too bad. But they're like, but we will not punish you for this. It's like, what? It's like, yes. Because you guys were able to capture the hero killer stain. And this use of quirks was, let's say, heroic. And Deku's like, well, guys, looks like we off the hook. And like, no, you are not. Like, what do you mean, no, we're not? It's like, you guys will have to do this and this and this, which is clean. And because of this incident, UA promised that if any other incident like this, like no moves or anything having to do with the League of Villains, happen ever again, then they were gonna make dorms. And that's where the UA dorms comes in. And the next day we wake up with the UA dorms, and they're teaching inside the dorms because each class has a dorm, like a whole entire dorm to themselves, with a kitchen staff and everything. So, yeah, and we move on to the next day in UA classroom, and they're learning everything as normal. And actually, you know what? We time skip around 2 days, and the first day of class, as I wasn't saying anything, he's just standing up. He's like, and then he hears a knock on the door. He's like, "Quiet, students." He's like, "Okay," and everyone's quiet. And you know what? You know what? I'm not gonna do this like this. I ain't gonna do them wrong. You remember when I told you it was gonna be lit? I'm gonna do it. 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 So, Bethaka, Deku. The UA classroom gets sent to a training ground, Gamma 21. 21, and Deku and the others are like, what are we doing here? He's like, well, we've seen the great progress that all of you have made. Especially some students here have made great improvements, and I'd like to congratulate you on this. But because of these certain incidents happening, we're going to need you to make something for us. For your safety and for the safety of all others, we're going to make this day of hero training where you will train your quirks and make a special move. One that will determine the ends of every battle that you fight. Or one that could determine even your life. And the deck was like, I was waiting for this moment. He's like, so it looks like Deku already has his answer. He's like, says Kachan, and he's like, He's always a bubble boss. Always has the first step, whole entire handbook. He's like, Yeah, that's me, Deku. And, he's like, as I was like, you will create your own special moves. And All Might's there, and everyone was like, All Might. He's like, yes, I will be here, and I will supervise your training. And everyone's like, I will supervise your training. So Deku's like, but what could I do? He's like, Deku, everyone else is making new special moves, and I'm going to talk about everyone's special moves. So for Denki, his special move is basically covering himself. I'm making their special move. So Deku is covering himself in electricity and shooting it out through his palms. And everyone's like, and Deku is able to do this, but he can only use it for around an hour before he gets dumbfounded. And now we're talking about Dark Shadow. We're talking about the Dark Shadow guy. I don't remember. He is basically what is his name? What is his name? What's his name? He's training by putting his stuff and covering himself with dark shadow and calling this shadow armor. And Denki's is called Lightning Man, I think. I'm gonna call it Lightning Man or Lightning Body. And what Bakugo does is that he basically takes AP shot. He already made Hauser's impact. He takes AP shot and takes the grenade hand thingy that he exploded when they were doing the hero training, villains versus heroes, and he basically combines it together. So he starts working out, and he finally grows enough sweat, and he puts all the sweat in a bottle, which might seem disgusting, but yeah, puts all his sweat in a bottle, and basically he tries to close up his hands and then disposes the bomb. But seeing from this, the recoil slightly breaks his arm. Slightly sprains his arm, but he was able to concentrate the blow. And this is what he calls I call it AP finisher. AP bomb or AP finisher. I don't know what to choose between the two. Or APB. I'm gonna call it APB. AP? I don't know. That's all. And now we're going to, actually, I don't think Momo has any special moves, actually. I don't think Momo can make any special moves, because it's generally with quirk. So, basically, she just trains. And, Ashida? Okay, no, so for Uraraka, basically, she does a thing where she, I'm gonna make this kind of different, where she can use her gravity, and reverses her whole entire gravity, and basically moves things to the ground between a 15-meter radius. Everything close to her gets shot towards the ground, and this isn't as strong as it would be, because she could move a normal person all the way down. Yeah, but like, if they were actually putting any strength up and trying to get up, then they would eventually get up with a lot of struggle. So yeah, it's not that useful. But she's using it as a not special move, but a capture move. And we move on to the Acid Girl, which I do not remember her name either. Basically what she does is that she takes her acid and flows it out like a river, and at high speeds and very strong force, and calls this acid burst. She calls this acid burst, where she throws her acid out like a laser and making her acid more powerful and throwing it out more accurately. She calls this acid laser, or acid blast, or burst. And now we move on to the guy with the sticky balls on top of his head. I don't remember his name. And basically he does a kind of like a machine gun, like where he throws his balls at extreme high speeds. And where he increases the size and stickiness of the ball. And if he fully increases the size into one ball, he can make it around the size of a boulder if he puts all his strength into it. But Like, after that, he's gonna lose a lot of blood. Like, his head, bro, is gonna be bleeding for days. So, it's very dangerous to use. Because, bro, he literally disposes it out of his head. Now we move on to... Who else? Who else? I mean, the Invisible Girl? She basically trains in martial arts. Because I don't think she could do anything with this quirk. She's just invisible. Let's see. Who next? Oh yeah, now we move on to Karashima. Bro, I do not remember the names of any of the characters. So it's her name Karashima. And basically, Karashima basically gets a smaller form of Unbreakable, where he isn't like the form of Unbreakable, just that he makes his he can control how his Unbreakable becomes. So now he can like construct like weapons, not like take them out of himself, but like make like fists with spikes out of them and use it like that. So basically, yeah, so like that. And for Karashima, now we move on to also yeah, and I don't think she gets. She's just a frog girl. I don't think she can do anything much more. Maybe she does like a. I don't know. I don't. She just does normal training because I don't think you could do anything better with a frog girl. Yeah, she just trains in martial arts as well. Now we move on to Todoroki. Now for Todoroki, basically it's like canon. He alternates between cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, trying to regulate it and use them better with faster reaction speeds. Now we move on to let me see. I think the only one. No, now we move on to no. The guy with like 6 limbs, like the one that looks like he has bat wings, I don't think you could do anything special with that girl. Or maybe, no, he's just training as well. The guy Tanjiro, that's his name. No, that's the demon's name. Tanjiro. I don't know, but the guy with the tail quirk. He just trains in martial arts like normal. Next is yeah, I think that's it. So basically, now we move on to Deku. So Deku, he shows this in the fight against Todoroki, and basically, All Might is looking more at Deku because he's just sitting down and meditating. But really, if you could see, Deku is actually building up a lot of energy, and then Deku tells All Might to keep apart, like cut the whole entire training area in half for him, and he's like, yeah, for sure. And he's like, he tells everyone to go to get out of a certain side of the training area so Deku could work. It's like, Deku's a hotshot. Let's see what he can do. So everyone stands up and sees what Deku could do, and then Deku stands up, and his eyes go completely blank, and Deku screams out, "Berserk mode!" And then Deku goes crazy. But measuring and using his quirk better, he's able to now regulate. He's able to use 10 times 10, but because his body is controlling him, he's able to use it like normal nature. And Deku is breaking everything. And All Might's like, now you can stop, Midoriya. And this wakes Midoriya up. So this basically puts Midoriya in a dormant state where he cannot control himself, and he lets his body control until someone stops him or screams at him. But the weakness of this is that if anyone screams out his name, such as Midoriya, or he can hear a familiar voice, his berserk mode would stop. So yeah, but he fixes it later on, which is what I'm gonna talk later on. But let me see how much time I've been recording. 50 minutes. This is a long one for you guys. I mean, yeah, I just did not do anything to myself. But I mean, yeah, that's it for your boy. So hope you guys liked it. Please like, subscribe. I'm my first subscriber, so thank you whoever subscribed to me. So like, subscribe, give. Actually, you know what? Yeah, like, subscribe, comment anything you guys want to comment, and yeah, see you later, guys. Hope you guys liked the video. Bye.